Good,
Alright.
good.
What's up, everybody? This is Mage,
And this is Worpex.
and today we are bringing you the grand final of the In Search for Freedom FML Cup. On the line here, we have first place taking home $180, and second through fourth take down $40. In the bottom left, we have Lightweight playing Orc. A good race for him, but he's actually usually a human player. In the top left corner, we have Seksi. Random player who's gotten Orc again, I believe he may have picked. I wasn't paying that close attention, but absolutely one of our better players and has won two ladder seasons in a row. Just to mention, Lightweight is actually in the finals of FML Season 16 as well. Top right, we have KhV.Smeley. May call him Smelly just because that's a little bit easier. But don't know a whole lot about him. He's played really well so far. Took home a very easy game against Foggy and played it to perfection. Looked like he'd been playing free-for-all for a while, actually. And our
He
last
beat
player,
J33 before that, so, I mean,
oh, wow.
can't say he had an easy bracket.
Yeah, no. And our last player is actually Duck. His name here is Constrive. However, his main alias is either RSM or Please Leave Duck. We're going to call him Duck throughout the game. He played in FML for a while and was no longer in the league. However, he did make two finals, I believe, and came pretty close to winning a finals before disconnecting. So we've got two Orcs, two Undeads, and we're going to go from here.
Pretty cool. I mean, Lightweight and Seksi are definitely the favorites here. They were kind of expected to get to the finals, so I mean, it's good that they made it here, but Smeley is definitely a wild card in this game.
Yeah, which is really awesome. I mean, you love to see some people that we have no idea about just come out and prove how awesome they can play. The free-for-all scene is so small that it's always great to find more good players, and that's part of the reason why we organized this, was just we want to get more people involved with free-for-all. It's a great game type, and it's a little hard to get into, so we figured that this would be a good way to introduce people to the game.
And I really like that Duck made it here, just because he's a guy with a big mouth. He likes to talk, and he likes to talk smack on people, and seeing him able to back up those words is fun.
Yeah, interestingly enough, Lightweight, Seksi, and Duck all have huge grudges against each other. Duck actually took Lightweight out of a semifinal match in 5 minutes. He just fiend rushed him on deadlock, I believe it was, and took Lightweight down instantaneously. So ever since then, Lightweight has tried to kind of back up his words. I mean, Lightweight is absolutely a great player, but when a great player gets taken down like that, they aren't very happy. And Duck gives Seksi a lot of shit, so look for Seksi to try and prove that he really is the best here as well. I think that this is going to create a really interesting dynamic, and it could allow for Smeley to fly under the radar, actually.
Definitely. I think they're going to ignore him a little bit. But I don't know if Smeley is going to allow himself to be ignored. I don't think he's one of those players that's just going to sit back and, hoard up. I think he's going to be right in the middle of that fight.
Possibly, except this last game, he actually hoarded at 50 on Emerald for every mine, didn't lose any gold to upkeep, and got to 28k on Emerald Shores, which is no mean feat. So, I think he's capable of playing either way, actually. But he did look good in fights, too, so you could be right. Maybe he'll just trying to establish himself early on. I mean, this is a great map to go ahead and get some early levels, and it looks like he's actually going ahead and grabbing these two reds on the sides to get those easy items, which Duck is actually somebody who kind of patented that early on. We'll see if he can pull it off as successfully as Duck has. Never mind, this is Duck, never mind. I thought that was Smeley. Smeley was pink last game. So yes, this is Duck. Duck is able to easily grab these brood mothers off the side. He'll get good items, won't lose any units, and he'll be able to do it for both sides early on. Unfortunately, he does get a scroll of Animate Dead, not what you want. You'd rather have that Infernal Stone or something along those lines.
Oh, I gotta fix the site quick.
Okay. Alright, well, while Worpex is busy fixing our site, because apparently he broke it, I guess I'll go ahead and fly solo for a little bit here. Just looking around, it does look like we have pretty standard openings all around. We've got Seksi going ahead and getting his expansion. Lightweight the same. Lightweight playing with the Dark Ranger first versus Seksi's Blade Master first. Both are great options, and it all really depends on who it is you're playing. I think I like Dark Ranger versus Undead a little bit better, just because Undead is so nuke-reliant, and if you can silence them, that really hurts. Plus, I believe that... No, you cannot get a Staff of Silence on this map, actually. You can get good claws, you can get Helms of Valor and stuff like that, though, so the BM could be a really good choice. That Blade Master could have crits in the 200-300 range. Duck is going for a later expansion than the other players because he's getting these items. Depends on what he gets, but I'm sure he'll think that they're worth it, and he is actually putting up this necropolis over here already so he can build some towers towards his expansion, most likely to help him creep it easily, since he does have only 2 fiends so far, but he is ahead of the others tech-wise. Does look like Seksi easily managed to get his creep up. Gonna get level 3 Blade Master momentarily. And it does look like we will be going counterclockwise for expansions here. I'm not sure if they called it. However, one of the interesting things about this map is early on you'll get free-for-all players talking about either clockwise or counterclockwise, and that's usually indicating which way they want to expand so you don't run into each other too early and end up suiciding each other. Because there's so many creeps and you can get such high levels, you really want to make sure you don't unnecessarily fight with people early unless you're going to be able to take them out. It does take a while to run from side to side though, so it's not likely you're going to be able to successfully take them out so early. Grabs a Tome of Experience, which is a nice little item for the, a nice little pickup for the Dark Ranger. Duck has hit level 3 off the 2 middle ones. Did get the Ice Shard, which is pretty useful for creeping early on at least. He will have to be careful when he's creeping his expansion though. The Thunder Lizards could take that Ice Revenant down pretty easily.
Just for reference, Constrive is Duck. It's just an AKA that he's on.
Yeah, we'll mention that a few times throughout the game. I know I mentioned it early on, however, I will make sure to continue mentioning that because it could get pretty confusing pretty quickly.
Yeah, someone asked in the chat.
Okay. Does look like Smeley is going clockwise, so this could be very interesting because Duck is now going to be without an expansion, going to have to fight somebody for his second expansion. And it also leaves the opportunity for somebody to go ahead and grab 2 expansions as well, be it Lightweight or Seksi.
Or Smeley.
Or Smeley, although I don't think Smeley will. Could be him. Could be
Seksi
wrong.
might be going clockwise too.
Yep. So maybe, I don't know if Lightweight screwed it up. Did you happen to catch if they talked about it early on?
Nah, I didn't see it.
Okay.
So while we're on the subject, why don't we talk a little bit about the map?
Okay.
For those who don't know, it's kind of a standard map that we use for finals because it's got a really equal starting position and it encourages a lot of fighting. The middle's got 4 red creeps with pretty easy creeps to creep, and you get pretty nice items from it. Not to mention there's a fountain of health right in the middle, so you can just heal up and go right back. So it caused a lot of early game fights right in the center there. So we'll see that pretty soon.
Yep, and the top and bottom red ones are actually pretty difficult to creep due to the dragons, and you have to have something that can take down the air early on, but they provide really good items. I mean, you can get some claws plus 12 or 15, I believe. You can get Helm of Valor, Infernal Stone, so really game-changing items, actually. And whoever can get those first, part of the advantage of Lightweight going Headhunter first is that he should be able to take those at some point sooner than Seksi who went Grunt, or our Fiend Master over here, depending on when he gets Web. Duck actually has hit Tier 3 already, though, Duck being Constrive, which is pretty quick. I mean, if you look around here, everybody else is pretty much at Tier 2 and on the way to Tier 3 if they've started, so pretty good for an Undead.
No, he's done.
Not a whole lot else to say about that, but Duck does like to rush. We do have Lightweight kind of cleaning this up. Realizes now that Duck went ahead and got to the this side red first, so he's not going to be able to get that really good item there. And it does look like that Seksi was just taking the creeps on the expansion over here, so Smeley should be able to go ahead and get his expansion up there as well. Interesting that Seksi has not gotten his second expansion up yet, though. He's usually pretty good about getting that up pretty quickly, and I wonder if he's saving the gold to try and hit somebody early, or what his game plan is. We do have Duck going towards the middle, so this could cause a fight between Lightweight and Duck, depending on how these guys go. It does look like they will actually just walk by each other, though.
Bummer.
Yeah. Gotta love some early fights between them.
What item did Lightweight get there from the spiders?
He just got a protection ring, because remember Duck had already gotten the good item earlier on, so he got the ring of protection +2.
Oh yeah, he got the revenant.
The other two whatchamacallit, red creep camps are still left here, and I bet somebody's going to end up getting jacked here depending on how this goes. Did Seksi see that? Doesn't look like it, but it could be very easily. Here comes. Blade Master's going to come in for a jack. I can almost guarantee it. If he gets, say, Ancient Hydra, that's going to give him a ton of experience. Could also go for this Lich depending on the stomp here. And, ooh, misses it. Good play by Duck with that coil. Very well done. Grabs that Crown of Kings right off the bat. And just really nice play from Duck. Shows a lot of experience there. Just not trusting that the Windwalked Blade Master could be around at any time. Does look like Smeley is going to go ahead and attack him here. So Duck is getting 2v1 by the creep camp and Smeley. Fiends are looking very low, but he will manage to get them out of the play here.
Oh, we got him out of there. That was pretty good.
Yep, that was well done by Duck. So
how many did he lose? Just one?
Just one, and that was to the creeps, not to Smeley. So Duck has managed to grab 3 out of the 4 important item drops on this map already, while only creeping with 3 total Fiends. He has already got his Black Citadel up. It's been up for a while, and he can go ahead and start pumping Gargs as soon as he wants to, assuming he wants to play Gargs. Duck for a long time was very vehemently against gargoyles, so it's entirely possible that he's not going to use them. On the other hand, letting his Fiends die off like that probably means he's ready to start pumping.
Yeah, he's got Stone Form going, so. And Boneyard's going up.
Could see some Bone Rain then.
Well, no, there's only one Boneyard, but he's got a Fiend going. 5 Crypts there.
Yep.
Definitely rushing someone.
Probably a pretty good move by him. He's actually phenomenal versus Orc, so it'll be interesting to see if he decides to try and break out onto Lightweight. Especially with the little rivalry between them, would not surprise me at all. Does look like Lightweight has picked up 4-2-1, just a solid creeping game early on. Dark Ranger is going to be super important. If that gets level 5, then that is really going to help a ton. It does look like we've got 4-2-2 for Seksi, very close to level 3 on that Tauren Chieftain, and Smeley is at 4-1. Do we have a Dreadlord yet for him or not yet?
I don't know. I only see 2 heroes.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it. Black Citadel probably just finished, and he's probably trying not to break 50, so Smeley is pretty far behind here. Actually. Yep. Duck coming in to finish his creep camp. He does pick up the Dark Ranger 3rd as opposed to Dreadlord 3rd, one of his favorites. Against Orc, I can't argue with that. I think that's going to be very important to go ahead and take down those casters. This will be interesting to see if he can successfully pull off this creep camp. It's not the easiest thing with what he's got. And in comes Lightweight. Let's see how this goes.
There.
Lightweight goes ahead, and can he get a stomp off? Okay, so that Dark Ranger is going to get healed up. Yep, can go ahead and TP out there. Smart move by Duck. Lightweight didn't take full advantage, I don't think, but maybe didn't want to piss him off too badly. On the other creep camp, we do have Seksi coming in here. We've got Smeley very nearby. Could see a jack if that turns out that Smeley goes. Looks like it. And what item are we going to get here? Mask of Death, it looks like. So that's a very interesting item. Here comes the jack. Did he pick up the item yet? Yes, he did. Okay.
Mask of Death's on Shadowhunter. It'll probably get swapped over to the Blade Master.
Yep. That's going to be a very good pickup for that Blade Master later on once it gets into the level 7, level 8 territory. And we got Duck coming in for another little engagement with Lightweight here. So pretty sure that the early matchups are going to be Seksi versus Smeley and Duck versus Lightweight. Duck being Constrive for those of you just tuning in now. This is a very low, nice stomp, nice stomp. Can it get away? Does not look like it's going to get away, actually.
He's going to block it.
It's going to go down. Yep, Tauren Chieftain goes down. Nice play by Duck. This Shadowhunter's looking very low as well. Does have 2 TP. He's going to go ahead and get out now. That one Frost Worm proving to be extremely useful right there. Well played by Duck. And as he said, if you play with fire, you're going to get burned. Turns out Lightweight did this time. However,
while we weren't watching, Smeley was able to take the top expo. Or creeps.
Yep. I was actually on it for a little while. Smeley didn't get anything good, though, because that Mask of Death had already been dropped for Seksi early on. So Smeley cleaning up, but doesn't get great items overall. 4-3 still has not picked up his 3rd hero yet. Is very close to level 5 on the Death Knight. Presumably going to go ahead and knock down another creep camp to get that, while Duck goes ahead and cleans up here. Looking over the marketplace, it doesn't look like we have anything terribly interesting here. Do have the Sobi mask on the Shadowhunter. That'll prove to be pretty helpful later on. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to go into chat, guys. So we are going to have the Lich. He's going to do a little cleanup, may get up to level 4 here. Interesting that the Dark Death Knight is coming back in. Would think that you would want to leave that alone, and does pick up the Tome of Agility. One of my personal pet peeves is free-for-all players are always leaving tomes behind. I'm sure they don't matter that much, however, it just bugs the hell out of me. If you're going to get a free stat upgrade, why would you leave it there?
Yeah,
And
it bothers me too, but then I find myself doing the same thing. Like when I watch
Just too
replays
lazy.
myself, I'm like, oh, I missed that. No, you just don't see it sometimes.
Fair enough.
Like when you're busy
we do
working
have
on
a
other
fight
things,
coming in
it's
here
like-
with Lightweight and Duck. Duck is going to go ahead and just an early little 50 versus 50 engagement. That Shadow Hunter is looking pretty low there. The Dark Ranger should be able to go ahead and silence it. It actually does not have enough mana to go ahead and heal itself anyway. And
Ooh,
up top right,
30
we actually
heals.
have Smeley is going ahead and hitting Duck at the same time. So it looks like Duck is going to have to go ahead and coil. That Frostworm is looking low. Is Duck going to go ahead and TP up there, or what's he going to do? What's he going to do? Does not look like Smeley is going to back off. Going to continue to pressure Duck. Duck is going to go ahead and have to TP up here, but he is going to be massively outgunned. He does not have very many units with him. He has that one worm, and that's low itself. So this could be a very interesting fight. Duck is not in great position to do it. Smeley actually at 55 food, which is very interesting because free for all you want to stay at 50, 80, or 100. And when you're not fighting, you want to make sure that you're not losing gold upkeep. So Smeley may be deciding to go for 80 or even a full 100 at this point, but he's not going very quickly, which is a little baffling. He is doing a nice
Yeah,
job
and
of
he's not
taking out these
building.
towers, though. Oh, he's not building? Okay.
No, he's got nothing going right now.
So interesting. We were talking earlier about how professional he looked in terms of free-for-all polish, but here's one of those quick mistakes that you often see players who don't play free-for-all very often make. It doesn't seem like it would do that much, but at the end of the game you look and you've lost 20 or 30,000 gold to upkeep, and you think, huh, would have been really nice to have that actually. It
Even a
does look
small
like-
amount helps. Even if you
Yeah.
only lost 7,000, it's like, oh, that could have been the difference between the game and winning.
Exactly. Interestingly enough, Seksi actually is at 80 right now, so he's got to be thinking about hitting somebody out, thinking that somebody is probably going to be Smeley. I mean, if you're Orc, I gotta figure you want to try and tome the Undead first, especially for somebody he doesn't really know anything about. It does look like he's actually going ahead and going to hit Smeley, so Purple is going to have to go home, as Duck is saying. Duck has...
No, he changed his mind.
all these players confuse me.
I don't know what that was all about. He got scared.
I mean,
Looks
Seksi's
like me got scared of
here we go. We
Lightweight.
got Lightweight, yep. So, does look like we'll actually be having some mirrors here, which is a little bit boring. Would have liked to see the Undead Orc matchup more, but
Cow fights are
can't
awesome.
do anything about it. What?
Cow fights are awesome.
Cow sex is boring. Don't you ever say it's awesome.
It's amazing. The longest battles ever. I'm sure casting it would be amazing.
Oh, I have casted it before. It did take forever. It felt like 30 minutes.
Probably was.
That was the game right there. Nothing else happened. Just back-to-back Tauren fights with them reviving. Nice job. Well done, play.
Ooh, Smelly lost his hero.
Yep. Dark Ranger goes down. It was a silence on the DK. So that's really what Dark Ranger helps with. Interesting that Smelly is choosing to match him here. I'm not sure if that was a conscious decision or what that was. However, I know last time Smelly went for the Dreadlord third. So maybe he thought that Duck was on something. Maybe he had planned it going into the map. But interesting that we've got two Dark Rangers, especially because later on when we have the Orc versus Undead fights finally, both of these Undeads are really going to appreciate having the Dark Ranger for that silence. I mean, it just helps so much. And just a little something that Duck did there that I'm not sure if everybody picked up, but he used that dust to check for scouts and sentry wards, and while he missed that one, it's just that heads-up thinking that you really don't appreciate, but helps out in free-for-all just oh so much.
In solo, too. That's actually more of a solo thing. Players do that all the time, especially to make sure that Blade Master's not stealing their creep.
Yeah, and it has less to do with Blade Master in free-for-all as to denying your opponents the ability to see what's going on at all times. I mean, map vision and the general free-for-all sense, I mean, knowing when people are 50, when people are 80, how much they're mining, how many gold mines they have, where they're going, is just so incredibly helpful. So if you can take your opponent's vision out, I mean, that's half the battle right there. It does look like we're going to have Lightweight coming in to play around with Seksi a little bit more. We've got Seksi at 85, Lightweight at 79. Seksi is capped at 90, however. I presume he's got a burrow going up, but I don't want to go away because we're about to get into a map here. Seksi goes ahead and starts targeting down those bats. Only one wyvern goes down. Bad bat usage by Lightweight right there.
No, that was 2 wyverns.
Was it 2 wyverns? Still. A little bit of a waste, in my opinion. Do have the Hex going on the Torn Chieftain right now. Will he be able to get that down? Nice stomp. Seksi's Torn Chieftain looking very low. Does have a pot. Will not get it off because he's going to go ahead and TP out. So, well done by Lightweight there. He's going to be able to take down that expansion. Did not lose very much. And we've got another fight over here going on between Duck, who's Constrive, and Smeley. Smeley does lose that Dark Ranger again. It has not been the same. So we've got Smeley at 55. Duck is actually maintaining his sub 50 right now. So Duck is going to be hoarding up a lot of gold here while everybody else is above 50. Big advantage early on. We'll see if anybody catches on to it. We do have that Death Knight is silenced. Will the Lich go down? Lich looks really low. Lich is going to go down. Down goes the Lich. Does not get that TP off. And he's going to burn a TP on the Death Knight as he tries to get the Lich away. We've got Lightweight coming back in here to engage with Seksi again. We'll see if this turns out as well for him this time as it did last time. Seksi is down about 1,000 gold, so if he can get pressure on right now, and Lightweight goes ahead and says, I'm not even dealing with this, I'm getting out of here. And interestingly enough, we have...
Smeley is pumping now.
Yep, Smeley is pumping, and Duck continues to just go ahead and pick up these minor little creeps, but it's adding up. I mean, that Lich is level 4, not too far away from level 5. Level 2 silence on the Dark Ranger, so it should be an interesting fight. I know that Duck does not like having Gargoyles, though. So if Smeley can bring a fight to Duck with all those Gargoyles, and Duck has a bunch of Frost Realms at the time, then that could be pretty interesting to see how that goes.
Yeah, Duck is the richest player and has almost no lumber.
That sounds a lot like Renaud.
Yeah, sounds a lot like Deathrose, too.
Hey, not if you play a non-evil race like Night Elf.
Oh, yeah, because then you just, get free lumber.
Mm-hmm.
It's one thing orcs hate about this map. No shredders.
Yeah, they can all go cry their tears into the ocean, though.
They got a mana fountain, so, I mean...
Yeah.
you can only cry so much.
For those that didn't really put it together, the mana fountain tremendously helps orc. I mean, if you're giving them essentially so much mana that they can't use it all up, then that's really just... Nobody wants to face the orc then. And facing an orc in their base that way, impossible. We do have Seksi coming back here. Lightweight went ahead and grabbed another expansion, the one that he had knocked down from Seksi. So Lightweight is going to have 3 expansions at this point. And everybody else will have 2 except for Seksi, who's at 1. So Seksi is a little bit in dire straits. I mean, I don't want to say he's out of the game by any means, but he needs to do something to get himself back into this and put himself on an even footing with the other players gold-wise.
A little bit of a pause here. So while we're on this break, we can actually take this time to see how these guys did throughout the tournament. Alright, we'll start with Seksi. So Seksi got to a bye into the round of 64, where he... Where was he? He beat Mog, Q West, and Step and Razor in the round of 54. Or 64. 63, actually.
Let's just go with 64 and not confuse anybody.
And then took out Darkness Calls, Ugrelanin, and Magadansky in SF3, although Maga disconnected, which was depressing. And that's how he got here to the grand finals.
Seksi actually was pretty much taken out in 5 minutes into the game, though, in that match. The fact that he was able to get back into it just shows how resilient he is, and that you can never count him out.
You can't really count anyone out in free-for-all. Especially a big-name player like that.
Alright, so
Maga did the same thing.
Duck play. Let's go ahead and continue this roundabout with all our players.
Duck also started in the round of 64. He beat Ante, Goov, and Renaud in the first round.
A pretty
Second
impressive
game,
first round win.
Actually, yeah, that's a pretty big game. Second game, I think, was a little bit easier. He had Slythe, No Mercy 2, and Infi Fan.
I'm just going to pause you for 1 second while we have the resume of the game, and Seksi's Torn Chieftain is silenced. It is low on health. The silence got at the Shadow Hunter as well. It's stomped. Seksi could be going down. Torn Chieftain is going to have to back away here. It's not in good position. Nice job by Lightweight. We do have some cow fights going on again. Just as he said earlier, they don't die. They just come back. Now we've got a
If
Hex
they die,
on...
they just revive.
Whatever. If you come back to life, is it really dying? We do have this Torn
No, I
Chieftain
guess
though
not.
looking very low. Down goes the Torn Chieftain, so that is something that is not going to be revived right away, but down goes Lightweight's Torn Chieftain too, so we've got even trade there, 3 for 3. Lightweight might have gotten a little bit better of it because he split that out, split the experience out. Gauntlets are on the ground, not sure why those are there. Do have the towers coming into play here. Lightweight's towers just finished at the end of the battle. Lots of red for Seksi. Seksi's going to have to back up here a little bit, but he is ahead food-wise. He's got 92 food to 71 for Lightweight, so if he can throw up a few healing wards, he may be able to go back in right away. So, good fight overall for each of them in their own way. I'd say I like Lightweight's position better. However, Seksi's not in bad shape himself either. So I cut you off a little bit. We had, just recap Duck's games. Never mind, Duck is going to go ahead and push on Smeley up here. So Duck is actually in his base already. This is something that you don't see all that often, people just taking the fight directly to him, but it is an efficient way to deal with Undead because they can't go anywhere. Undead works best as a hit and run type unit, and when they can't run, then you can just hit them away. It is looking like Smeley is getting the worst part of this battle for sure. That Death Knight is looking pretty low. Death Knight is being focused down by everything that Duck has here. Duck at 74 food, so still doing pretty well macro-wise. Death Knight's looking very low. It's TPing, but where's it going to TP to?
Oh, that Death
We do
Knight's
have
dead.
not enough mana. So good positioning by Duck here. Very nice job by Smeley getting that pot off quickly. Does heal the Lich, but Lich is looking really low as well. Does have that Inferno Stone. May want to go ahead and use that before anything else happens. If that Lich goes down with the Inferno Stone dead, I'm not sure Smeley gets back into the game. We do have a little fight going on the other side. Down goes the Death Knight. Inferno does get out. Lich goes down. Going to the other side. Seksi's fighting. Lightweight over here. Actually does not look like Lightweight has TP'd in, so I'm going to go back up to Duck versus Smeley. Smeley not in good shape. Infernal Stone is out. That's his only hope to try and make that Death Knight TP away here. Nice job with the Stone form going ahead and blocking off the Death Knight, preventing the Infernal from getting to him. Does look like Smeley is going to be in trouble here. Does have 10,000 gold, but when you see the other person's army completely in your base, that's not all that comforting in my opinion. Duck has hit level 6 on his Death Knight, level 4 on his Dark Ranger, and level 5 on his Lich. In very good shape here. Seksi taking down Lightweight's expansion. It looks like Lightweight not even getting contested.
This is actually very good for Seksi right here. If Duck's able to take out Smeley here, then it's probably going to stop their battle. He's going to be able to get back into this game.
Yep, I agree. It all depends on if Smeley is going to go ahead and leave easily. I suspect we may see a rebuild. We do have attack coming up. Halls of the Dead is all set on his natural expansion. So Duck may be able to draw this out pretty well. I would not be surprised to see him just let this hero come back to continue to tome Smeley. When you're in a position like this, it doesn't really hurt to let the other person live for a little while if you're not losing stuff in the battles. And Duck, for everything you could say about him, does have some pretty fantastic micro. So I think Duck is just the type of player to let somebody come back into the game just to kill him over and over again.
Oh yeah, it's definitely what he's going to do.
And
More experience.
Gargs are completely pumping. We've got 3 more Frostworms over here. This could provide Duck with a bonanza of experience if these go down. Duck does have plenty of gargoyles, should be able to take them down relatively quickly. Death Knight is about to come back. We've got about 30 seconds left on the revive there. Everything is going down for Smeley. He's really just not losing anything. Does look like on the other side, Lightweight quickly just denied Seksi that expansion as well, so Lightweight keeping Seksi in check pretty easily. And Smeley has lost his towers. We do have the Death Knight is back. It does not have a potion. It does not have a scroll of teleportation on it.
Ooh,
nice block by
great
Duck.
stop.
Does not get the surround, but does have just pathing it. There we go. So Smeley's Death Knight goes down again. We are getting very close to level 6 on the Dark Ranger as well. We've already gotten level 6 on the Lich. And both Lightweight and Seksi are pretty oblivious to it at this point, I think. Lightweight does have 1 ward nearby, may have caught something. Smeley is talking a little bit, but not a whole lot, so it'd be very interesting to see if they do stop. Egos could prevent it. We do have a fight coming in here for Lightweight.
Big fight.
Lightweight and Seksi both have the Torn Chieftains right in the middle there. Both are looking pretty low as well. Healing come in. We've got wards all over the place. Does drop that Gauntlet there. Gonna go ahead and pick that back up and try and gain the health back when it's low, I'm guessing. Seksi's Torn Chieftain looking very low. Does back up. Lightweight's Shadow Hunter is looking even lower though. Little heal back on it. The Torn Chieftain's back out. We do have silence on Seksi, so you can see where Lightweight's hero choice coming in handy is right now. But down goes the Torn Chieftain for
Ooh.
Lightweight. Will Seksi get away, or will it be an even trade again? We do have 67 for Lightweight, 80 for Seksi. Seksi's Torn Chieftain looking very low. Very bad time for a lag pause. So down goes that Torn Chieftain too. Pop goes off on the Blade Master, almost level 6 for it. Dark Ranger looking very close to level 6 as well, though. And we do have oh so close. It's going to hit level 6. Well, actually, we may have the Shadow Hunter go down here.
Great fight for Lightweight.
Yep,
He's doing real well here.
Especially because he's down so much food. And Seksi accidentally has let some of his units get back here. We'll see if he can go ahead and hex around it. The Shadow Hunter does have a teleportation. If he hexes it right now, though, that's going to be very bad news. Blade Master is here. That could also get down. Blade Master looking very low. Does get away. Barely. Just barely gets away. Back over here on the other side, we have Duck continuing to tome Smeley. So Smeley is essentially out of the game. Has 7,000 gold, but not very much wood, and just getting completely decimated by Duck. Death Knight is about to come back out again.
Which Duck will kill and take the experience again.
Exactly. Assuming he can remember it's coming out.
Duck does need to kill him because in order for him to fight these high-level undead armies, he's going to need a high-level army himself. So Smeley was right that they're probably going to team him, but it's a risk he needs to take.
Exactly. It does look like the Death Knight has just come back. I think that Duck is going ahead to go over here, find it, and kill it. He does have some Gargs as well. But yeah, I mean, even being down such high, having the undead heroes be so much higher than the orc heroes, you don't feel great about any fight in 100v100. Especially if Duck gets teamed, it's going to be very hard for him to keep his heroes alive with Hex Stomp. If you get 2 Hex Stomps on a hero, then that's pretty much just you repeat for forever.
But luckily, he's got level 3 silence.
Yep, that is a nice thing, and that is why Duck picks that Dark Ranger third. I mean, that's going to play a huge role.
There it is. You got the surround that time.
Nicely done. Well played by Duck right there. Very good surround. Does not have a scroll of teleportation, and Duck is going to go ahead and pick up level 6 on the Dark Ranger after he kills all this stuff off. Such a nice play by Duck.
Great surround.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of those things that you just love to see. I mean, as a fan of the game, that's just perfect. So,
That is not easy to do either.
No. Especially he doesn't have that many gargoyles. I mean, usually you see it with a ton of gargoyles, but Duck now has 7, 6, 6, I believe. Yep, did not quite get 7 on Lich, very close, and 15k gold. So Lightweight is sitting at 3k gold, and Seksi is sitting at 700 gold. You don't want to jinx him, but you got to think that Duck is looking like he's in pretty good position here, and even going to let Smeley rebuild a little bit so he can continue to hoard, it looks like.
Actually, a very smart move. It doesn't alert the other 2 that Smeley is dead.
Yep, once you
allows
see
him to
somebody
keep towing him.
leave the game, that's when you start taking it really seriously. But you do see some scouting coming in here. Seksi sees the fact that Smeley has it, and be interesting to see if Seksi convinces him to cancel it, if Smeley says, fuck you, it's mine, or what goes on here exactly.
Oh yeah, Seksi is definitely
Seksi
not catching on either.
needs some type of expo. I mean, that's got to be his priority at this point, and it does look like he's going to engage with Lightweight again, so interesting battles, however, really not going to help either one of them.
Ah, they're calling peace. Ah.
You hate to see
Maybe.
that.
They're smart. They're stopping to scout first.
Mm-hmm. But Duck has his own shade going on over here. For those of you just tuning in, Duck is Constrive. He goes by Please Leave Duck is his main thing, and he is a pretty good solo player that's played in free-for-all for a while. But he has not been in the most recent FML seasons, although he has made the finals before. Our other players, if you're just tuning in, I guess I might as well give a full recap. We've got Lightweight, who is in the finals this year, his first finals, and he was in the finals of King of Free For All as well. So he's been having a phenomenal, I guess you can call it, year so far with Free For All. Really been playing on top. Seksi and
Still
our top
hasn't
left.
picked any big wins up.
No, that's correct. I mean, he's gotten to the big games. He just hasn't pulled the trigger on them yet. Seksi has won 2 FML ladders, made multiple season finals, made the semifinals this year, but didn't pick up a win. So he's also looking to get one of those big game wins. And Smeley is a pretty unknown player. We've all been pretty impressed by him so far, and the fact that he's won his games to get to this point is really a testament to his skill, and he's just flown under the radar. Speaking of, who did Smeley have his wins over? I believe we recapped Duck and Seksi, but I think we still have Lightweight and Smeley to
Let me do Lightweight first. So Lightweight, he faced in the first round, he had the Hunger Sight, KK Wet, and No EX. And that was in the round of 64. In the semifinals, he fought against Ashelar, Toyota, and Dark Flame Master.
And that's a pretty tough matchup right there.
It was a pretty tough matchup, but I think he rolled him. That was a pretty quick game.
Well, he certainly has the capability to easily go through everybody. And who do we have Smeley playing? Did he get a bye in the first round? I can't remember.
He did. He was against CAH4EC, Madboy J33 in the round of 64. And then the semifinals, he was against Foggy56, Carter RPG, and SK2 Flash.
That was a really impressive win. I mean, it didn't look that impressive if you were watching it, but Foggy is probably the best solo player that was in this tournament, although Duck may disagree with that, since I'm sure Duck thinks that Duck is number one.
Oh, he does, definitely.
Yeah, and Flash is a very good solo free-for-all player as well, who got taken out early by Foggy, but it was still not an easy place to pick up a win on a very small map like Emerald, where solo players have a tremendous advantage, and Smeley could be a solo player, but I don't believe he is.
I'm not entirely sure where he's from. I haven't heard of him before.
I think he's Russian. I was talking to Searcher earlier, asking who he was because I was so impressed. So maybe he plays in some Russian leagues over there or something. I don't know. We'll have to find out more about him later and invite him to apply for the next free FML season. We do have Seksi engaging with Lightweight once again, so yep, as Lightweight is saying, huge mistake, and he is 100% correct, I think.
Hey, Lightweight figured it out.
I think Lightweight's known for a while. We do have, they were talking about Duck feeding off of Smeley. Smeley is beginning to rebuild over here, and it could very well be Duck is back in Smeley's base momentarily, trying to get some more experience off of him. He's done a fantastic job of just toming people so far. And Ugrelanian is saying that Smeley is a top 4 bot ladder player. We'll get back to that after this. We're going to see what Seksi does here. Seksi is going to go ahead and push on Lightweight. We'll see what Lightweight does. Lightweight has broken 50, back up to 67 now. Dark Ranger is looking like it's getting focused down pretty easily. Nice job with that stasis ward there. That really helped out a lot. Down goes another Torn that can probably be revived later on. And we have Duck is going to go ahead and push Lightweight. So Duck with 15,000 should have enough to take out Lightweight if he wants to. But just to get back to the ladder, so you probably noticed some of the advertisements throughout this game is saying go to playfreeforall.com to play on the ladder. Ugrelanian has done a fantastic job of creating what is essentially a better version of the Battle.net free-for-all ladder. It goes a lot quicker,